So now here, let's say this is our fabric already, the length and the breadth. So one side is supposed to be higher than the other, one end is supposed to be higher than the other end. So let's take it that this is the highest end, and then this is going to be the lower end. Let's use 3 inches of, say 2.5 here, for example, and then just connect from the higher end to the lower end. Then you cut out. After cutting it out, you line it. So you iron your hard stay, you line it, then after lining it, after sewing it, this is what we are trying to achieve. This is it. So you try to do whatever you want to do on paper first to see how it comes out. Can you see it? So this is the effect that I want to get on the fabric. This is it. You can see this wavy effect it's having now. So it's because of the slant cutting we are able to get this effect. Can we see that? And we see how it's going to come out on the fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and replicate this on the fabric. So my lower end here is going to, I would just like to minus a few inches. So my higher end here is 15 inches. So I would like to just minus 4 inches from here. So let's make it 5 inches. I don't want it to be. And then you want the distance from the other end to the UVS from here. So you can take it deeper if you want. As 6 inches or so, but I'll leave it at 5 inches since I'm still going to sew it in by 1 inch. So I'm going to connect from that end. So I'm done joining the lace to the fabric. So next thing is to join the darts. Work on the back. I'm going to join the back piece. So now I'm done joining the back piece. This is it. I joined it already. This is the front piece. This is the back piece. So now the next thing you're going to do is to line the bodies. So now I'm done joining the side for where the loopholes are going to be. This is it. I already sewed it in and cross stitch. So after that, the next thing is to join the side seam. Remember we added 1.5 inch sewing allowance for the side seam. So because this is going to be an inner sewing, I want the lining to cover the sewing inside. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to, remember the back is always supposed to be under like this. You know it's supposed to be this way. Now we're going to join the side seam. Take the underarm, where the underarm stops, place it on each other. Now this is what we are trying to achieve for the inner sewing. Just take, it's supposed to be sewn the lining with the lining and then the material with the material. So what you're going to do is just to pin it down on the side. So now I'm done joining it. This is it. I'm done with joining the sides. So this is how it's supposed to come out. You can see it. So now this is just the upper part of the dress. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the front parts. You can see that there was something covering the one side of the front. So I'm going to work on that because we're supposed to attach it first before joining the down part. So now I'm done sewing it out and ironing it. This is it. You can see it. So now the next thing to do is to determine where you want it to be on your blouse. After sewing it, this is what we are trying to achieve. This is it. So you try to do whatever you want to do on paper first to see how it comes out. So it's because of the slant cutting we are able to get this effect. Can we see that? Can we see how it's going to come out on the fabric? So I'm just going to go ahead and replicate this one. You just have to know how to maneuver to stitch it down. So after that, I'm just going to pin it down. You can see it's falling off from the chest area. So take your needle, hand needle and thread, tack it down to the chest. The next thing now is to work on the lower part we are going to fix here. So first things first is to fix the zip on the back piece of the lower side. Fix the zipper, sew in the zipper. So here I already attached the zip. If you are going to do an inner sewing, you have to attach the zipper first, but if you're not doing an inner sewing, you attach the lining first with the back piece, then before you sew the zip. So first things first, sew the zip. Then after sewing the zip, I'm going to take the front piece. So here you have to join the front piece and the back piece, the seam allowance which you have put for the side seam. Here we made use of 1.5 inch, so you sew it all the way down. You run the seam down on both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and join this first. After joining the front and the back together, this is it, I already joined it. So now we have the down part ready. So next thing I'm going to do now is just to attach the lining inside. I'm going to attach the lining to it. So this is the lining. I'm going to turn this to the back. Turn this to the back. And then sew this like so. Now mind you, the back is going to be opened by 2 inches on both sides. That is the back where the zipper is, because you know the dress is not going to get to where the zip is stopping. It's going to stop halfway by 2 inches. So that part that is going to show, make sure you're going to you use the lining to turn it in, because that part is going to be shown outside. But for this lining now, I'm going to gather it. I want to gather it so that it will help to make the inside full. So this one is for the front part and this one is going to be for the back part. So I'm going to join these two lining for the front and the back, and I'm going to gather it because I want to achieve some level of fullness underneath the dress. Gathering helps it have that fullness, and then adding the hardness would also help the fullness, but I want to gather the lining. So now I'm going to, I cut this for the back. If you have enough lining to work with, you can cut it in circle, but I prefer it this way so that I can have enough to gather. So I'm going to just join this for the front and the back, join it on the side together by maybe 1 inch or half an inch, and then gather it before joining it to the skirt part, the down part of the dress. So here I'm done gathering the lining which I want to put inside the skirt, the down part of the dress. So after gathering, make sure you have that zipper opening, because you're going to sew it down through the zipper. So but first thing I'm going to do before putting the lining inside the skirt is this. When you cut this down part, like folding it in cool and then cutting it out, after sewing it, make sure you iron it out neatly. Iron it out neatly. Then you're going to notice that one edge is usually longer, like the side, yes, the side seam. It always comes out pointier and longer than the center. So this is what I always do to even it out. You fold it. You fold this side seam, let the two side seam touch each other, place it on each other, but make sure you iron it out neatly so that it's going to be very easy for you to cut out. Now this is what I want to cut out, this edge that is always pointy. So just go ahead and measure the center front. Measure the center front. Here, this is what I have on the center front. I have 29.5. Here 29.5. But here on the side seam, look at what we have here. I have, oh sorry, this is very slippery. You just have to be careful. It's very silky. So here I have 33.5. So you can see the extra length we have there. We need to cut. So this 33.5, we need to cut out the excess that we have to level up to the center front. So now I'm just going to take what I have here, 29.5, and then place it here and mark it out before cutting it out. I don't know if you understand what we're trying to do here. It's just to make the side not too pointy. So 29.5, you just go ahead and mark it out. 29.5 until it blends into the center front. It's actually going to blend in. Just mark it 29.5. You're going to notice while you're marking, just follow the waistline to mark it out. 29.5. It's going to blend in 29.5, and here it has blended in. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. Make sure you arrange it very well before cutting it. So I'm done joining the first layer of lining. Actually, this dress is going to have 2 layers of lining, but this one is the regular lining. Then the next fabric I'm going to use to line it is this material. I'm going to use this to also line it to do the last finishing coverage for the inside. So after this now, after the lining, after sewing in the first layer of lining, next thing is to fix the net. So here, this is the hard net I'm going to make use of. I have 4 layers of this. You need a lot of net because we really want this dress to rise as much as possible. Not really like a ball dress, but it should have some volume underneath it. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 layers of this net is what I want to make use of. So I'm just going to join them with gather stitch. Just join it and stitch it across. This is it. I'm going to sew it all the way down with gather stitch because I want to gather it to have that give it that full effect that I need. So I'm done with gathering the net. You can see it's standing already. Gathering it helps it to stand better. So by the time you put it under the skirt, the dress, it's going to stand and puff very well. So when you're done with gathering it, make sure you sew down together so it doesn't get too loose when you're moving it to sew on the skirt. So I'm just going to take it and place. Personally, I don't really like the net to get to the end of the zip allowance area. It's not necessary for it to get to that end. Oh my god, this is so heavy right now. So I'm just going to place it in like this. And where is the opening? You place the opening. You can just stick it back. Not to get exactly on the zip allowance because it's not really that necessary. So I'm just going to place it from here like this, and then sew it around the waist. Sew it round, pin it down, arrange it very well, pin it so it's going to be very easy for you to fix. I'm done with attaching the net to the down part of the dress. So this is it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to attach it to the upper part before sewing the final lining to turn everything out. So this is it. I'm just simply going to take the upper part. Let's open this zipper. Now identify the center front. This is the center front for the down part. This is our center front. Take the center front of this down part and identify the center front of the upper part, and then you try to pin it together. This is going to be near to difficult to pin or sew down because of the thick layer of this, but we're still going to try to sew it down anyways because that's actually the style. So just sew it down. Make sure the center front of the upper part and the center front of the lower part are on the same position. When you pin it down, then you sew it across from one end to the other, and then sew it across from one end to the other. So now this is really looking lovely. The inside is done. The last thing I'm going to do for this inside is to use the last layer of lining to turn the rough edges of the waist. Well, in this case, I need to do that so that I can cover this net, because if not, the net might be too harsh on the skin if it touches directly on her skin. So I'm going to use the last layer of lining to turn this in, and by the time I turn it in, it's going to cover the net. Most times people get to use bias to turn just the waist and leave it like this, but I prefer to use another layer of lining. I prefer using like 2 layers of lining. So now this is how you're going to do it, because you're also going to make use of this lining to turn the zip allowance, the zip inside. So you take the first edge place the front. Well, because I'm making use of the fabric, so I'm placing the front to face the front. So I'm going to pin it down. Just try to pin it down. So now I'm done pinning down the last layer of lining to the waist. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch it just so it's round. At this length now, the waist is so thick, like very heavy and very thick. You just need to be careful while sewing so your needle doesn't keep breaking. Just match it very gently. So now you can go ahead and sew the hem. The dress is ready. You can attach a modesty panel if you want, but if not, you can leave it like this. Yeah, some people like the back being open like this. If you want a modesty panel, you can go ahead and cut it out and then attach it on the inside for the modesty panel, and then you sew your rope. That is it for the dress. Our dress is ready. You can see how the inside came out very neat and nice. This is it. This is it, guys. Our dress is ready. So that is it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for following on the journey of this dress. If you're still watching up to this moment, wow, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you. You are all well appreciated. You guys are lovely. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, if you're new to this channel, please do not hesitate to subscribe, like, share to your friends, drop your comments, ask questions, and join us in our next video. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.